Daniel Grant stood on the rocky beach near his home and watched the sky. The sunset painted everything orange and red. He had lived alone on this coast for 5 years now, away from the noise of the city. His work as a former military officer gave him the skills to survive in isolation. He needed this peace. The sound came without warning. A roar split the air above him. Daniel looked up and saw something impossible. A ship fell from the clouds like a burning meteor. It was not human. Its shape was wrong, too sharp, too geometric. The metal glowed with a light that did not come from fire. Daniel ran toward his truck parked near the beach access. His training kicked in. He did not think about fear. He thought about investigation. The ship crashed into the ocean 3 miles north. The impact threw water high into the air. Daniel drove his truck along the coastal road, following the trail of smoke. His hands were steady on the wheel. He had trained for emergencies his whole life, but nothing had trained him for this. When he reached the crash site, the beach was empty. No other cars, no people. The ship lay half in the water and half on the sand. It was enormous up close, maybe the size of a cargo plane. The metal was damaged and smoking. Strange symbols covered its hull. Daniel approached it slowly, listening for sounds of life. A sound came from inside, a weak cry like an animal in pain. Daniel climbed onto the hull and looked through a crack in the metal. Inside was darkness and smoke. He pulled the metal wider, cutting his hands on the sharp edges. He did not stop. The cry came again, closer now. Daniel jumped through the opening and landed hard on the floor inside. His eyes adjusted to the darkness. The interior was filled with strange technology, devices he could not name. And then he saw the boy. The child was trapped under a fallen panel of metal. He had blue skin like the night sky. His eyes were large and dark, too large for a human face. His hair was white like snow. He wore clothes made of material that seemed to shimmer. On his chest was a symbol made of crystal that caught what little light existed in the darkness. The boy looked at Daniel with fear and confusion. He tried to move but could not. Blood ran from a wound on his side. Daniel did not hesitate. He moved to the fallen panel and lifted it. He was strong from years of training, but the metal was heavy. His muscles burned, but he did not let go. The panel came up enough for the boy to pull himself free. The boy collapsed into Daniel's arms. He spoke words in a language Daniel did not know. The sounds were strange and sharp like metal hitting glass. The boy was hurt and scared. Daniel understood fear. He understood pain. These things spoke across all languages. Daniel carried the boy out of the ship and back to his truck. The boy did not fight him. He seemed too weak to struggle. Daniel laid him gently in the truck bed and drove back to his house as fast as the road allowed. His house was simple. One large room with a fireplace, a bedroom, a kitchen. He had not expected visitors. He had not expected anything like this. He placed the boy on his bed and looked at the wound on his side. It was deep but not life-threatening if treated quickly. Daniel had field medical training. He cleaned the wound with antiseptic and water. The boy cried out in pain but did not move. He watched Daniel's face the entire time. When the wound was cleaned and wrapped, the boy lay back on the bed. Daniel brought water and food. The boy drank the water eagerly. He smelled the food carefully before eating it. He ate slowly, like he was not sure if it was safe. Hours passed. Daniel sat in a chair near the bed and watched the boy sleep. The boy's breathing was different from a human's. It was slower, deeper. His skin seemed to glow faintly in the darkness. On the boy's arm was a small device, broken but still showing faint lights, and on his chest that crystal symbol. It looked like something a royal person would wear. Daniel thought about calling the government. He thought about reporting what he had found, but something stopped him. The boy was hurt and alone. He had fallen from the sky and crashed on this beach by chance or by fate, and Daniel had found him first. That meant something. Morning came. The boy woke and looked afraid again. He saw Daniel sitting near the window and made a sound that might have been warning or might have been question. Daniel did not approach quickly. He moved slowly and showed his hands open and empty. "I will not hurt you," Daniel said. The words would mean nothing to the boy, but the tone might mean something. "You are safe here." The boy watched him carefully. His large, dark eyes moved across Daniel's face, studying him like a hunter studies prey. But there was intelligence in those eyes. This was not an animal. This was a person. "Can you understand me?" Daniel asked. The boy made a sound, then another. Then slowly, in a voice like wind through a canyon, he spoke. The words were broken and strange, but they were words Daniel could almost understand. "Water," the boy said. "Safe, you. You help. 3 days had passed since came to Daniel's house. The wound on the boy's side was healing well. Daniel changed the bandage each morning and each night, did not cry anymore. His body was strong and wanted to heal. What surprised Daniel most was how fast learned. On the first day had only a few broken words. By the third day he spoke in simple sentences. Daniel would point to things and name them, repeated the words and remembered them all. His mind worked like a computer, storing information and making connections. "That is a door," Daniel said, touching the wooden frame. "Door," repeated. "Door closes the place, keeps warm inside, I understand." "Yes," Daniel said, "you are smart." "On my world all children learn fast," said. "We must. Our world is hard. We must learn or we die." Daniel wanted to ask more, but he could see that talking about home made sad. The boy would look out the window toward the ocean, and his expression would become distant and empty. On the morning of the fourth day, Daniel heard a vehicle coming down his private road. Few people visited. Daniel lived far from neighbors. He could see dust rising from the drive. A car appeared through the trees. It was Lisa, his closest neighbor. She lived 2 miles away in a small cottage. She came to buy fish that Daniel sometimes caught. Daniel's heart jumped. He could not let her see, but it was too late. She was already at the door. Daniel opened it before she could knock. "Lisa," he said, "hi, this is not a good time." Lisa was a woman in her 40s with red hair and quick eyes. Nothing escaped her attention. She looked at Daniel and smiled. "You look worried. What is wrong?" "Nothing," Daniel said. "I am just busy." "With what?" Lisa asked. "You never have visitors. You never leave the house. What could you possibly be so busy with?" Daniel did not answer. Lisa was kind, but she was also a person who followed rules. If she knew about, she might feel she had to report it. "You are hiding something," Lisa said. She moved to push past him into the house. Daniel put his hand on the door. They stood in silence for a moment. Then appeared behind Daniel. The boy stepped forward and looked at Lisa with his large, dark eyes. Lisa gasped. Her hand went to her mouth. For a long moment, nobody moved. "What is that?" Lisa whispered. "He," Daniel said. "He is a he. His name is, and he is hurt. He needs help." Lisa stared back at Lisa, then did something unexpected. He bowed, a formal, respectful gesture. "I am," he said in his strange, musical voice. "I do not mean harm. I fell from the sky. Daniel helped me. I am grateful." Lisa looked at Daniel. Her expression was hard to read. "You found him," she said finally. "His ship crashed," Daniel said. 3 days ago, he was the only survivor. I could not leave him to die." Lisa came into the house. She closed the door behind her. She looked up and down. "He is hurt," she said, seeing the bandage on his side. "Yes," Daniel said, "but he is getting better." "He is not human," Lisa said. "No," Daniel agreed, "he is not." Lisa sat down hard in a chair. "What are you going to do?" Daniel had asked himself the same question 1,000 times. "I do not know," he said honestly. "The government will want to know about this," Lisa said. "They will take him. They will put him in a lab somewhere and study him like a specimen." "I know," Daniel said. "So what are you going to do?" Lisa asked again. Daniel looked at. The boy was watching both of them with intelligence and understanding. "I am going to help him," Daniel said. "For now, I am going to help him get better, and then I will figure out the rest." Lisa nodded slowly. "What do you need?" Daniel was surprised. "What?" "What do you need?" Lisa said again. "I assume you did not think this through. I assume you have no real plan. So what do you need to keep him alive and healthy?" Daniel found himself smiling. "Food, medical supplies, maybe some clothes." "All right," Lisa said. She stood up. "I will get you what you need. I will say it is for myself. Nobody asks questions about what single women buy." "Why are you helping us?" Daniel asked. Lisa looked at. "Because you are right. Because the government would hurt him. And because," she paused, "because I believe in kindness when I see it." Over the next 2 weeks, Lisa became part of their small group. She brought supplies hidden in shopping bags. She brought clothes that fit strange body. She brought books so Daniel could teach to read. She brought companionship. His English improved every day. He spoke about his world and his family. His mother was powerful, he said. She was a ruler. She controlled many ships and many worlds. She had sent him on a mission, but the mission had gone wrong. Other people had attacked his ship. They had not liked his mother's choices. "Who attacked you?" Daniel asked. "The old families," said. They do not want change. My mother wants peace with other species. They want control and power. They think I died in the attack. They think I was killed. Are you in danger? Lisa asked. Yes, said. If they know I lived, they will try again. They will kill me to hurt my mother. Daniel felt protective of the boy, had become important to him in these short weeks. The boy was intelligent and kind. He was afraid but brave. He never complained about his pain. He never asked for more than he needed. One evening, as Daniel changed bandage, he realized something. The wound was almost completely healed, was strong enough to move around the house. He could walk without pain. He could stand and move and live. You are better, Daniel said. Looked at Daniel. Because of you, the boy said. You saved my life, you protected me. On my world, if someone saves your life, it creates a bond, a responsibility. You are like my father now. Daniel did not know what to say. He had not expected to feel love for an alien boy, but he did. This strange child had entered his life and changed it completely. I will protect you, Daniel said. I promise. 5 weeks had passed since arrived at Daniel's house. The boy was fully healed now. He moved with strength and grace. His English was nearly perfect, but had become restless. He spent hours looking at the crystal device on his wrist. It was broken and dark, but something inside it still worked. Sometimes it would flash with a faint light. What is that device? Daniel asked one afternoon. A communicator, said. It connects me to my family, to my mother's ship, but it is damaged from the crash. The power is low. The signal is weak. Can you fix it? Lisa asked. Shook his head. I need parts I do not have, parts from my world. I have tried, but there is nothing here I can use. Daniel thought about this. He had always been good at fixing things. He had repaired vehicles, machines, and electronics his entire life. He had a workshop in his basement filled with tools and old parts. Perhaps human technology could help alien technology. Let me look at it, Daniel said. Handed him the device. It was warm and smooth. The surface had symbols carved into it that seemed to glow faintly. Inside, through a cracked panel, Daniel could see circuits and components. They looked similar to human electronics in some ways, but completely different in others. The technology was far more advanced. The components were smaller and more efficient. What does it need? Daniel asked. Power source, said. And a new receiver. The receiver was damaged in the crash. Without it, I cannot send signals far, only receive them and only weak ones. Daniel brought to his workshop. He showed him his tools and his collection of electronics, studied everything carefully. His alien mind understood patterns and functions that human engineers took years to learn. This, said, pointing to an old solar panel, this could work, and this battery bank and this circuit board if we connect them correctly. For 3 days, Daniel and worked together in the workshop. Lisa brought them food and water. She watched them work and was amazed at how different they were, yet how well they understood each other. They did not need to speak much. They communicated through gestures and simple words, both focused on the same goal. They carefully removed components from Daniel's electronics. They modified them with tools and careful work, used his knowledge of alien technology to guide the process. Daniel used his practical skills to make it happen. On the evening of the 3rd day, they connected the final piece. The device lit up. Light filled the entire workshop. The crystal on the device burned bright, bright enough to hurt the eyes, held it as information flooded through it. Data streamed across the surface. Words appeared in language, but also in English. The device had learned English from their conversations. His face went pale. Tears ran down his face. What is it? Daniel asked. What is wrong? Messages, said, his voice shaking. So many messages. My mother, she has been searching for me for weeks across many systems. She sent ships everywhere. She sent messages every day. She thought I was dead. Lisa came down the stairs. What happened? The device is receiving again, Daniel said. His family has been looking for him. Read the messages. His hands trembled. Message after message appeared. They were from his mother. They expressed fear and love and pain. His mother had not given up. She had continued searching and hopping, unable to accept that her son was gone. You need to contact her, Daniel said. You need to tell her you are alive. Looked at Daniel with fear in his eyes. If I contact her, she will know where I am. She will come here. She will bring ships and soldiers. The people who tried to kill me, they will learn I survived. They will come too. Is that bad? Lisa asked. It is very bad, said. "You do not understand. I am a prince. My mother is the queen. This information will spread across the entire galactic network. Everyone will know I lived. Everyone will want to find me for many reasons. Some reasons are good, many are not." He thought about the choice before them. They could keep hidden. They could pretend the communicator still did not work. They could live in secret, safe, but isolated, or they could tell the truth. "What do you want to do?" Daniel asked. Was quiet for a long time. "I want to tell my mother," he said finally. "She is suffering. I can feel it in her messages. She needs to know I am alive, but I need to tell her the truth. I need to tell her where I am and who saved me." "The truth," Daniel said, "that you are here on Earth, that a human took you in and helped you." "Yes," said, "my mother needs to know that humans are not what she thought we were. She needs to know that you showed me kindness when you could have turned me in. She needs to know that humans have honor." Daniel felt Lisa watching him. He understood what this meant. Once they sent that message, everything would change. The world would change, Earth would change, there would be no going back. "Then we tell her," Daniel said. "We tell her the truth." For the rest of the night, Daniel composed a message, spoke in his language while Daniel wrote in English. They translated together, making sure every word was correct and honest, told his mother about the crash. He told her about Daniel. He told her how Daniel risked everything to save his life. He told her that humans were not primitive or weak. Humans were brave and kind. When the message was finished, held the device in both hands. "This changes everything," he said. "I know," Daniel said. "Are you afraid?" asked. Daniel thought about this. "Yes," he said. "But fear is not a reason to do the wrong thing. You need to contact your mother. She needs to know you are alive. That is more important than our safety." Activated the device. The message traveled through space at speeds humans could not comprehend. It went across light years in moments. It reached the Queen's ship. And then they waited. The device remained dark for hours. Daniel sat in the workshop, not speaking. Lisa slept in a chair nearby. They waited for a response that would change their world. Then in the darkness of the early morning, the device lit up again. A message came through. It was from the Queen's. Message changed everything in a moment. Daniel sat with the reality of what was coming. A queen from across the galaxy, a ship that could destroy cities, soldiers and technology beyond human understanding, and it was all coming to his small house on the coast. Lisa helped Daniel prepare. They cleaned the house and prepared a space for his mother. Neither of them knew what a queen would expect, but they did their best, told them about his mother. She was fair but strict. She was intelligent and strong. She had loved his father, but he had died in the wars that happened before was born. She had ruled alone, making hard decisions that shaped the lives of millions. "Will she blame me for keeping you hidden?" Daniel asked. "No," said. "She will honor you for saving my life. On my world there is a code. If someone saves the life of a royal person, they earn the respect of the crown forever. You have done more than that. You saved her son. You will have a place of honor in her court." 3 days passed. The Queen's ship was coming. It would arrive in Earth orbit in 2 days. This is when things became difficult. News spread. Someone saw unusual activity in the sky. Military radar detected the incoming ship. The government was informed. Within hours, military jets were mobilized. The United States Air Force sent fighter planes to investigate. Other nations did the same. News channels began broadcasting theories about UFOs and alien invasions. Fear spread through cities and towns. People gathered in public spaces, afraid and confused. Some prepared for war. Some prayed to their gods. Some packed cars to leave the coasts, thinking the aliens might attack the ocean first. Daniel watched the news on television and felt the weight of responsibility. He had started this. His choice to help had set everything in motion. Now the entire world was reacting. "We need to tell them," said, watching the fear spread on the screens. "We need to tell them what is really happening." "How?" Lisa asked. "Who would believe us?" Thought for a moment, then he made a decision. "Contact the government," he said. "Tell them I am here, tell them about my mother, ask them to let her land safely." "They might take you," Daniel said. "They might arrest us." "I know," said, "but people are afraid. They need to know the truth. They need to know that my mother is not coming to hurt them. She is coming to meet the human who saved her son." Daniel made the call. It took 3 transfers and many explanations, but eventually he spoke to a government official. A woman named Tors. She was skeptical at first, but Daniel gave her details that could not be fake. Information about the crash, the location, technical details about alien spacecraft that matched what scientists had detected. Within 2 hours, agents arrived at Daniel's house. They were armed and serious, but they did not arrest anyone. Instead, they listened to what had to say, spoke to them in perfect English. He explained his situation. He explained his mother's peaceful intentions. Agent Torres arrived in person that evening. She was a woman in her 50s with intelligent eyes and a calm manner. She listened to everything told her. She watched the communication device receive more messages from the Queen. "Your mother wants to talk to our government?" Agent Torres asked. "Yes," said. "She wants to establish peaceful relations. She wants to ensure that humans understand her intentions are not hostile." Agent Torres thought about this. "This could go very badly," she said. "If your mother's ship approaches the planet, our military will attack it. They will not know if it is peaceful or not. They will see it as a threat." "Then you must tell them," Daniel said. "Tell them to stand down. Tell them a prince is here and his mother is coming in peace." "People do not trust easily," Agent Torres said. "There is fear. There is history of violence. Even if I tell them, some commanders might not listen." Stood up and spoke with authority in his voice. It was the first time Daniel heard him speak like a prince. "Then take me to your leaders. Let me speak to them. Let me tell them who my mother is. Let me tell them why she is coming." Agent Torres studied. "You would do that? You would put yourself in danger like that?" "Yes," said, "because Daniel taught me something. He taught me that people from different worlds can understand each other. That kindness matters more than fear. I want your people to understand that my mother feels the same way." Agent Torres nodded slowly. "All right," she said, "we will try." A government plane took them to the capital. Daniel and Lisa were escorted to a secure military facility. There they met with generals and political leaders, stood before them and spoke with calm intelligence. He told them about his mother and the Empire. He told them about the attack on his ship. He told them that his mother had sent no weapons, only a messenger ship. "My mother wants to know humanity," said. "She wants to establish trade and peace. She wants to show that the galaxy is not a place of constant war. It can be a place of cooperation. And this all began because one human chose kindness instead of fear." The military leaders argued among themselves. Some still wanted to shoot down the incoming ship. But Daniel's testimony, combined with words, created doubt. Maybe they should wait and listen instead of attacking. Finally, a general named Williams made a decision. "We will allow the ship to orbit," he said. "We will not attack, but they will come with no weapons and no soldiers, only a small group. That is the deal." Nodded, "I will send that message to my mother." In the communication center, sent the terms to the Queen. Her response came back quickly. She agreed. She would come with only a small group of guards. She would come in peace to meet the human who had saved her son. The night before the Queen's arrival, Daniel could not sleep. He stood on the observation deck at the military base and looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, a queen was traveling toward Earth. A queen who commanded entire solar systems. A queen who could change the course of human history. And it all started because he had heard a cry in a crashed ship and chosen to help. Lisa found him there. She stood beside him and looked up at the same stars. "You changed everything." The sky opened like a flower blooming. The Queen's ship descended through Earth's atmosphere and hovered above the military base. It was massive, far larger than anything human engineers had designed. The metal of the hull gleamed with light that seemed to come from within. The ship cast a shadow over the entire facility. All around the base, soldiers prepared. They were tense and ready, though ready for what they could not say. This was the moment that would define human history. This was first contact, not as feared invaders, but as a family reunion. Stood at the landing platform, his whole body trembling with emotion. He had not seen his mother in weeks. He thought she was beyond reach. Now she was descending from the sky. Daniel stood beside him, wearing clothes that General Williams had provided. Lisa stood next to them both. They formed a small triangle of humanity and alien kinship. The ship landed with incredible precision. It made no sound. The landing gear extended with the smooth motion of technology far beyond human capability. Then the door opened. The Queen emerged. She was taller than maybe 7 feet in height. Her skin was silver like mercury, not blue like her son's. She wore robes made of material that flowed like water but was harder than any metal humans had. The crystal insignia on her chest was larger than, and it burned with intense light. She moved with absolute authority. Every step carried the weight of command. Her eyes found immediately. She began walking toward him, and Daniel felt the power radiating from her like heat from a fire. Behind her came soldiers in armor that looked like it had been grown rather than made. They wore expressions of alertness and duty. The queen reached, and she did something unexpected. She knelt. A queen of millions of worlds knelt before her son. She pulled him into an embrace and held him like she would never let him go. Her guards remained still, respecting this moment. When she stood again, her eyes moved to Daniel. She studied him for a long moment. The power of her gaze was almost physical. Daniel felt like she could see everything inside him, every fear, every doubt, every moment of his life. "You are the one," the queen said. Her voice was like music played on instruments humans had never heard. "You are the human who saved my son." "Yes, your majesty," Daniel said. He was not sure what the right protocol was, but he kept his voice level and respectful. "You did not know what he was," the queen said. "You did not know what saving him would mean." "No," Daniel agreed. "I only knew he was hurt and alone. I could not leave him there." The queen moved closer to Daniel. She was terrifyingly large and powerful, but her movement was not aggressive. It was curious. She raised her hand and placed it against Daniel's face. The touch was warm and strange. "In my empire," the queen said, "we have had contact with 1,000 species. I have met brilliant minds and powerful warriors. I have known technological advancement beyond what most beings can imagine, but I have never known this." "What is this?" Daniel asked. "Honor," the queen said. "True honor, not from wealth or power or technology, but from the choice to do what is right when the cost is high. You did not know who my son was. You did not know that saving him would elevate your species. You simply chose kindness. This is something my people have lost, something my empire needs to remember." The queen turned to face the assembled military leaders who watched from a distance. She raised her voice, and it carried to every part of the base, clear and strong. "I am queen of the empire. I govern 57 star systems and command the loyalty of billions. I have come to this world because my son was here. But I also come to tell you something, to tell all of your people. The human species was unknown to us. We believed you were primitive, dangerous, not worth the trouble of formal contact." She paused. "We were wrong. The human named Daniel Grant has shown me that your kind possesses something rarer than any technology, something more valuable than any weapon. You possess the capacity for genuine compassion, for sacrifice without reward, for courage without the promise of glory." The queen turned back to Daniel. "I am going to offer you something, an unprecedented honor, a position in my court, access to the knowledge of my empire, protection and prosperity beyond what your kind has ever known. You will be recognized across the galaxy as the human who taught us what honor truly means." Daniel felt Lisa touch his arm. He understood what was happening. The queen was offering him everything. A chance to live in a galaxy of wonders, wealth beyond imagination, status and power. "Your Majesty," Daniel said, "I am honored by your offer, truly, but I must decline." There was silence. The guards shifted slightly. The queen's expression did not change, but something in her eyes showed surprise. "You decline," she said. "Yes," Daniel said. "I am grateful, more grateful than I can say, but Earth is my home. These people are my people. I want to stay here. I want to help my world understand what has happened. I want to be part of building peace between our worlds, but I want to do it from here, from Earth." The queen was silent for a long moment. Then she made a sound that might have been a laugh. "You refuse the greatest honor I can give you," she said. "And you do it without hesitation. This proves what I have already learned. You are a person of principle." She turned to her guards. "I have a new offer," she said. "I am granting Earth-protected status within the Empire. This world will be recognized as a member species. It will have the protection of my ships and my military. It will have access to trade throughout the galaxy. But it will remain independent. It will govern itself. And this man, Daniel Grant, will be recognized as the ambassador of Earth to my empire." Agent Torres stepped forward. "The United States government accepts these terms, Your Majesty, and I speak for the world when I say we are grateful." Moved to Daniel's side. He took Daniel's hand and held it firm. "He is my father," said to his mother. "Not by birth, but by choice, by sacrifice, by love, that is what matters." The queen nodded. "I can see that," she said. "It is clear in both your faces." She spoke to her son in their native language, words that Daniel could not understand. But he could understand the love in her voice. She was telling him that it was good, that his choice to bond with Daniel was right. Over the next hours, formal documents were signed, agreements were reached, networks were opened. Earth received its place in a galactic community, news spread around the world. Humanity was no longer alone. Humanity had a place among the stars. Daniel stood on the platform as the Queen prepared to leave. She would not stay long. Her empire needed her. But before she left, she placed something in Daniel's hand. It was a crystal like the ones on her and chests. But this one burned with light that was uniquely his own. "Wear this always," the Queen said. "It will mark you as a friend of my empire, it will protect you, and it will remind you that honor knows no species. It is something all living things can share." The Queen embraced her son one more time. She looked at Lisa and nodded with respect. Then she walked back to her ship. Her guards followed in formation. The doors closed. The ship rose into the sky. Everyone watched as it climbed higher and higher. Then it engaged some kind of faster-than-light drive, and it was simply gone. One moment it was there, the next it had vanished from the sky. Stood beside Daniel and watched the empty sky. "She is proud," said. "I felt it. She is proud of me, and she is grateful to you." "What will you do now?" Daniel asked. "Thought about this? I want to stay here," he said. "I want to help Earth understand the galaxy. I want to help my mother's empire understand humanity. I can be a bridge between two worlds." "Then you will need a home," Daniel said. "You will live with me." Smiled, it was a smile that crossed the barrier between two species. "Yes," he said, "I would like that." Back in his ordinary house by the coast, Daniel had never planned to change the world. He had not intended to become an ambassador or to negotiate with galactic powers. He had simply heard a cry in the darkness and answered it. That small choice to help another being, to show compassion when danger was possible, had rippled outward like a stone thrown in still water. It had changed the future of an entire species. As Daniel watched the sunset from his home that evening, on one side and Lisa on the other, he understood something true. The greatest power in the universe is not the power to destroy. It is the power to choose kindness. And sometimes that single choice is enough to change everything. The ocean moved with eternal rhythm. The stars began to appear in the darkening sky. And among those stars, somewhere in the vast galaxy, a queen ruled her empire knowing that honor could come from the most unexpected places. That courage could exist in the hearts of ordinary people. That sacrifice without reward was the greatest gift of all. Daniel had brought an alien boy home, and in doing so, he had brought hope to a universe that had almost forgotten what hope meant. He said, "We changed everything," Daniel said. "Changed everything. His mother changed everything. It was not just me." "No," Lisa said, "but you started it. You made the first choice. You chose kindness when you could have chosen safety. That is what matters." In his quarters nearby, slept peacefully. He had finally stopped worrying about what would happen. His mother was coming. The circle would be complete, and the human who had saved him would meet the queen. The future was arriving, and for the first time it felt like it could be good. And her words appeared on the screen in both languages. "My son, you are alive, you are safe, I am coming for you, and I must thank the one who saved you. A human. This changes everything I thought I knew about your people. Wait for me, I am coming." Looked at Daniel. Tears still ran down his face, but now they were tears of hope instead of fear. "She is coming," said. "My mother is coming, you are about to meet the queen." Daniel realized that his quiet life was truly over. A queen from across the galaxy was coming to his home. The future was approaching, and there was no way to stop it. Reached out and touched Daniel's face. "I know," the boy said. "That is why I trust you." Lisa watched from across the room. She saw something that made her believe in the future. She saw two beings from different worlds, connected by something deeper than blood or biology. She saw hope. Outside, the night was dark. The ocean moved with endless rhythm. And in a small house on the coast, a family that should not exist began to form bonds that would change the course of history. Daniel nodded. He brought more water. The boy drank and seemed to relax slightly. "I am Daniel," he said. "What is your name?" The boy looked at the water cup in his hands. He said finally, "My name is." "Welcome to Earth," Daniel said. Looked at Daniel and something like trust appeared in his eyes. He was far from home, far from whatever world he came from. He was hurt and alone, but Daniel had saved him. And on this empty coast far from the rest of the world, two beings from different worlds would begin to understand each other. Daniel understood that his life had just changed completely, but he did not feel fear. He felt something stronger. He felt purpose.